in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. Our webinar series is entitled Chat, Listen, and Exchange, and we also hope to hear from all of you. Now, I'll start off with a quick introduction of the WINS network and who is the host of today's webinar. So the WINS network is a global interagency network that is working towards supporting the improvement of wash services in schools all over the world in order to turn our vision, which is to have all schools having access to basic drinking water, sanitation, and hygiene services as defined in the Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs, to reality. The network is facilitating exchange of experiences and alignment among various development partners, different organizations that are supporting government's Wash in Schools program in order to mainstream messages, set a common direction, and to inspire implementation. So the WINS Network's initiatives support various Wash in Schools areas, including, though, if I could lead your eyes towards the blue box in the screen. So advocacy, policy, and system strengthening, monitoring and reporting, research and evidence building, gender, including menstrual health and hygiene, WINS programming, also knowledge management, capacity development, and learning and exchange. So we are, the WINS network is steered by the core group members, namely UNICEF, GIZ, Save the Children, WaterAid, WHO, UNICEF Joint Monitoring Program, the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and Emory University, along with UNESCO. So you may check the website, www.winsnetwork.org, for more information. And on the website, you may also find, as I've said, the recording of this webinar, for example, will be uploaded into the website. So this will be made available there along with other previous events and webinars we've hosted in the past. Also, there's a collection of other relevant resources on Wash in Schools available. And in case you haven't signed up yet, I would also like to invite you to become a member of the WINS network, which will allow you to receive regular updates on the activities of the network. So now let us move to the next slide, and I will give you an overview of how the next hour and a half is going to look like. So we will be joined by movers and shakers on the topic of hand hygiene, including Erin Palomares, who will present the work of the Global Handwashing Partnership, which is hosted by FHI 360, including their support to the development of global normative guidelines for hand hygiene. This will be followed by a presentation from Belinda Abraham on the fund-based behavioral change approaches that took place under the collaboration between GIZ and Viva con Agua, called the Waterproof Project Dance for Wash, across 6 African countries. Then we will have a presentation from Megan Williams of Splash around the human-centered hardware and software designs for hand hygiene. And this will be followed by a presentation from Meva Zara Rakatoson and Vanna Rodriguez from HappyTap, who will share their new normal of hand hygiene everywhere and why it's needed. And throughout the session, please feel free to post your questions in the chat, and we will have a dedicated time towards the end to get back to them. All right, so that's how the next hour and a half is going to look like. And let us now start with our first presentation. So Erin Palomares is a public health professional and senior program officer working with FHI 360. And FHI 360 is the host of the Global Handwashing Partnership. She previously consulted with and did research with the University of Alabama in Birmingham. Erin is it's a really early morning in their location, so the presentation is pre-recorded. However, she is we're very grateful she's able to join us live. So in case you have questions, please feel free to post them in the chat, and she will be able to respond to us towards the end of her presentation. So sit back, relax, and take it away, Erin.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to speak at this event. It's always exciting to see how people come together to celebrate Global Handwashing Day. And it's an honor to share the work of the Global Handwashing Partnership and how we're working toward this year's theme, Clean Hands Are Within Reach. Again, my name is Erin Palomares. I manage the Global Handwashing Partnership. And I'll use this time to provide an overview of some of our activities, including the work we're doing with WHO and UNICEF on forthcoming global guidelines for hand hygiene. But first, if you haven't heard of us before, the Global Handwashing Partnership is a public-private partnership that serves as a global advocate and knowledge hub for hand hygiene programming. We also lead the planning, facilitation, and reporting of Global Handwashing Day each year. And we're supported by over 40 partners around the world, some of whom will be presenting their work during this session as well. And we all work toward a joint vision. As a collective, we aim to see hand washing with soap and the use of hand hygiene products universally recognized, promoted, and practiced as fundamental to good health. Our strategic objectives help us work toward that vision, and I'll go through each of these objectives in more detail as I share more on our activities. Our first objective as a partnership is to promote clean hands for all through advocacy efforts. Global Handwashing Day is, of course, our flagship event each year, and I'll talk more about that in the next slide. We also support in-country advocacy and engagement by working with many of our partners to change the enabling environment in a country. And finally, we try to be integrative in our advocacy efforts and work with various external forums where we can reach other sectors with hand hygiene messages and get hand hygiene included within other sectoral priorities. Just a bit more on Global Handwashing Day. It's celebrated every October 15th and provides a global platform to raise the importance of hand washing with soap. Last year, we reached over 2 billion people with hand hygiene messages. And the key question this year is, how can we ensure clean hands are within reach? We know there's been progress made. There have been great strides in recent years thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic. But how can we scale and sustain this progress? I don't have too much time with this presentation, but for me, that first step is working together to ensure 100% coverage of hand hygiene facilities across key settings, including schools. And this requires a strong enabling environment, access to adequate and affordable hand hygiene services, and evidence-based behavior change programming. And during the rest of the session, I think we'll see some examples of how partners are doing just that. Our second objective is to serve as a knowledge hub for hand hygiene. This includes both resource development and amplification, as well as providing several knowledge exchange events, including different webinar series and hand hygiene think tanks, which bring together our partners and other hand hygiene experts to answer key questions for our sector and spur new ideas to move the dial on hand hygiene. A few years ago, we worked with several of our partners to develop the Hand Washing Handbook, an all-in-one guide for hand hygiene programming. And that handbook includes a section on hand hygiene in schools and takes you through some steps that you can take to address hand hygiene in this setting as well as others. And finally, our last objective is around partnership and coordination. Not only do we have a global network of partners that we can leverage, but we also strive to play a key role in other initiatives that impact hand hygiene, including the Hand Hygiene for All initiative, which is led by WHO and UNICEF. Through this initiative, we lead the advocacy workstream and have also been supporting the development of global guidelines for hand hygiene in community settings, which I'll speak more on in the next slide. These new guidelines are being developed based on the clear need within our sector to establish a cohesive set of best practices. A few years ago, WHO and UNICEF began this guidelines process by consulting with different partners to address the key questions on the screen here, with the aim to develop a set of recommendations for stakeholders across the key settings noted in the figure on the screen as well. I will note there are different contributor groups throughout this process, including the main steering group, systematic review groups, external review groups, and so on. Where the Global Handwashing Partnership plays a role in this process is in supporting the development of the implementation strategy for these guidelines. WHO had approached us and asked us to facilitate a series of end user meetings because of our expansive global network. And we've used one of our think tanks to further map out different stakeholders in each of these settings and have started to analyze how each end user may interact with such guidelines once they're published. We plan to host setting-specific workshops next year to dive deeper into a potential uptake strategy, and we'll certainly look to the Wash in Schools Network to contribute to this process as well. I know I covered a lot in very few slides, but I hope this provides an overview of this partnership and how we're working to ensure clean hands are within reach. To close, I just want to note the importance of having this kind of platform. The Global Handwashing Partnership has been around since 2001, and I think the long-standing nature of this partnership says something about the importance of having a platform like this to advocate for hand hygiene. It's still very much a neglected topic within our own sector, and this partnership provides a way for various hand hygiene enthusiasts to coordinate and maximize our efforts. Thank you again for having me, and I look forward to hearing the other presentations.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Erin. And as I've said earlier, Erin is with us. She's joining us. It's 3 a.m. or even later where she is right now. So if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat, or you can even raise your hand, and we can unmute you. So while waiting, Erin, do you have anything you want to highlight in your presentation? The floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Merge. Nothing really to highlight. I just posted the reporting event link for Global Handwashing Day in the chat. So as you're wrapping up your Global Handwashing Day celebrations, please report your event outcomes. It really helps us to track the progress that's being made on Global Handwashing Day. And then, like I said in my presentation, we are working with WHO and UNICEF to develop those global guidelines. And we're looking at these key settings, and that includes institutional settings like schools. So we're hoping to engage with this network a little bit further along as we get into that process more.
Thank you so much, Erin. So yes, please let us know what you've done during Global Hand Washing Day and the outcomes through the link that Erin has posted in the chat. Yes, once again, thank you so much, Erin. And should there be questions, I know you need to go because you have an early meeting later on. So thank you. We really appreciate you joining us so early in the morning. And should there be other questions coming up later, we will pass them on to you. We'll send you an email.
Sounds good. I'll stay on for a little bit longer. So if there are any questions that come in through the chat, I'll try and answer through the chat. But thanks, everyone.
Yes. Thank you. And now let us move on to the next presentation, where Belinda is already ready with her camera on. So Belinda is an international development specialist and is currently working with Viva con Agua in institutional fundraising. She also consults with many organizations, including the WINS Network, where she moderates webinars usually. And we are co-moderating this webinar together. And she supports the team on knowledge management. Previously, she has worked with UNICEF in 7 countries in Sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia. She's joined today by members of the Viva Con Agua team in Uganda and South Africa, and also partners in Malawi, Rwanda, Zambia, and Tanzania. So without further ado, over to you, Belinda.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. And I'm so glad that many of the Viva Con Agua team, the Cosmos, as we say, are with us here. I go through the presentation, and then at some point, it will open up to a screen, and I will invite you guys to unmute and share your impressions of the campaign. I do also want to say, in one of the slides, the earlier slide that Marge showed when she was doing the events, what we were going to do today, that is actually from Zambia, and I know Eddie from Borda is here. So Eddie, we'd love to hear from you too. So great. With that, next slide, please. Yeah, so I'm going to share, and hopefully other team members will join in on the Dance for Wash, which was an approach under our waterproof program, which was funded by GIZ with support from Susanna, the WINS Network, and many other partners. Next. So a little bit about Viva Con Agua. So Viva Con Agua, we are a network and a community who believes that everybody, like everyone of us here, believes that clean water, drinking water, sanitation is vital. And our kind of mission is water for all and all for water. Next. And we do this through what we call joyful activism. We use music, sports, art. Some of you have heard of Football for Wash. And we use that to promote projects, but mostly the mission of Water for All. Viva Con Agua has partners in 11 countries in East, Southern, and South Asian countries. We also work with different communities, as I mentioned, musicians, networks, as you saw the collaboration in the verse video. And the whole idea, again, is to create this joyful activism, bringing us together to make change, in essence. Next. And we also believe, and this was part of the project, was a co-creation process, that we together come together to create, engage people in a meaningful way, and also in that process, giving a space to listen and to share, which is very critical. And that last. Yeah, and so as mentioned already, the Dance for Wash partners under the program Waterproof, which ran basically just finished in September, but it ran from October to September, but the real kind of crunch of it was 3 months between, I would say, January to January to June. That was the real crunch. We had partners from GIZ with Susanna, as I mentioned, but we had Viva Con Agua South Africa, Viva Con Agua Uganda, Viva Con Agua Austria, Nyali Music, Katasi, Lucy, this is Lusaka Water Security Initiative, Cardiff, Skills East Africa, and Zalu Music. So we had lots of people part of this collaboration. Next. And so the Dance for Wash is under a collaboration, what we call, so I'm just going to ask if yeah, thank you, is a collaboration under what we call Universal Languages for Behavioral Change, UL4BC. And as I mentioned earlier, it's our approach to use arts, music, dance, sports, games even, to engage people for behavior change. So it's the whole idea is to elicit joy and fun, positive emotions, which allow people to internalize the messages, and internalizing those messages are likely to make behavior change. And there is studies and to say that when people have fun, people retain things more. Okay, next. And so a little bit about the Waterproof project. Its initial aim was to reach 500,000 kids between the age of 8 and 18. We focused in mostly the urban capitals of Malawi, Mozambique, Rwanda, South Africa, it was Cape Town and Bulungula, and then Tanzania, which I suppose Bulungula is not an urban capital, but it was one of our focus areas, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia. And as I mentioned, it was about a 9 to 12 months, but really the crunch of it was in 3 months. And we really wanted to see, could we use dance and connect it with social media to really make a big reach? So in addition to that, we also did great comic animation videos, art murals and locations. We also did TOTs for Dance for Wash. So many of you are aware of like TikTok dance moves. It was that kind of idea. There were contests, dance competitions. We used social media to really be able to get that out, to amplify that out. And I'm pleased to see that Katasi is here with us. They can share probably a little bit more if they would like. And of course, we monitored it to see where it was the reach. And a lot of it was around getting collaborators, so getting influencers to then take out those messages and send them out as well. And our strategies were basically to mobilize our network, to digitize the content, to try to expand the UL4BC, the Universal Languages for Behavior Change approach, to expand that outreach, and to also engage education stakeholders, so ministries of education, ministries of health. I've talked a lot, but I think the next guy Izzy will show you a little bit more. So it's a video, but I think you'll get a whole idea, a scope of the project. So with that, you can play.
Make it, break it, shake it, wash it, make it, break it, shake it, wash it, make it, break it, shake it, wash it,
Hey there, welcome to Viva Con Agua's Dance for Wash project, where we're building pandemic resilience and having a blast while doing it. Our mission is to make sure everyone, and especially kids like me, have clean water and are practicing good hygiene.
Do they come out?
Yeah. Through some really cool dance moves, we are learning to shake all the bad habits, break the spread of infection, wash with water and soap, and making a better world for all of us. Say it with me. Shake it, break it, wash it, make it.
Wash my hands, shake that, break that cycle, make it walk. Wash my hands, shake that, break that cycle, make it walk. Water!
We're dancing with kids in South Africa, Rwanda, Malawi, Zambia, Tanzania, and Uganda. We want everyone to know how important it is to wash our hands and keep clean.
Shake it, wash it, break it, make it.
I said wash your hands and shake that, break that cycle, make it.
And guess what? We're also making art. We paint big, colorful pictures on walls that show everyone how important it is to wash our hands. These pictures are like superheroes, fighting off germs and keeping us safe. Over the past 5 months, Dance Wash has brought joy and knowledge to countless lives. The project has worked with 10 dance crews and has worked with over 25 influencers and organizations. We have also reached 1.2 million young people with our Wash pandemic resilience messaging. That's so exciting!
Shake it, make it, wash it, break the cycle, break it. All around the world, Africa stand up, wash it. Zambia, Malawi, Rwanda, shake it. Tanzania, Mozambique, break it. Upewa kuma ota kujiza.
Shake it, break it, make it. Really vibe it, break it. Wash it, now let me wash it. Wash it, now let me wash it. What a setting number nana we drilling it. Maji safi kibera, we be breaking it, sipping it. Just a dog kuna dipping it, die imagine tungi mok.
This project is a big part of Viva Con Agua's plan to help inspire and activate as many kids as possible to live a healthy life and to make sure everyone knows how to take care of themselves. They're using their big network of friends to help us spread the word as well.
My name is Wasa Sadi. So I feel like most of the people in our culture, we all relate to dancing, whether we're happy, whether we're sad. We use dance to express any feeling that we have. So I feel like it is the best way to communicate.
We've been posting cool videos on social media, showing off our dance moves and catchy songs. We've also had workshops with important people like the Ministry of Health, and they've helped us make our message even better.
As you can see, we're outside Spin Street, and we're here for the Dance for Watch competition. The event that we've organized is based around the universal languages. The language that we're using today is dance, and the message that we're trying to get across today through dance is the importance of washing your hands, the importance of washing your hands for infection control and for the prevention of diseases being spread.
Dance Wash is not just a project, it's a movement. Will you join us? Visit vivaconagua.org to learn more and join us on this amazing journey.
I just wash my hands, I'm clean, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. Osani posha sunasambe kumanja, I don't know where you've been. I don't know where you've been. Apani wash it, shake it, break it, ibwera parasi. Ibwera che parasi. Apati chisambe, tichinyanganyisa no chipwanya parasi. Tichipwanya parasi. Change chisambe, tichipwanya parasi. Tizachinyanganyisa, tichipwanya parasi. Tipose tizachinya, tichipwanya parasi. Osai baraji, tichipwanya parasi.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. So hopefully what the video showed you is we collaborated with musicians, dancers in the 6 different countries. And it really is to move the conversation away from conference rooms and those type of things to really to move it to a way that people can connect and have fun with it as well. So originally we only planned to reach 500, but through our digital reach, we were able to reach actually even more. As I mentioned in the video, it's actually 1.2 that we're met. And this was done in a very short time. So we also realized the importance of how messaging, connecting people, having fun can really have the reach. Now, I guess the question is always on, will the behavior change? We hope that things like the songs, the messages, the dances connect kids, and then that also helps with the behavior change. Next slide, please. Yeah, so lots of pictures shared here. I would love to open it up now to just give a few minutes for those who were part of the campaign who want to share something. So can I ask maybe, I think Bulalani is online. I think Katasi's online. I think also Borda is also here too. Would you open up and share a little bit about what you did for Global Handwash Day, and also a little bit about the reflections of the campaign? Bulalani, can I invite you for just a minute? Or the team in South Africa?
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
You want to see me too?
It's up to you, Bulalani. I wanted you to share a little bit with us about the campaign, maybe just in 1 or 2 minutes, or like 1 minute, just to share a little bit about your kind of how the campaign, and also you putting on the video together with Flavio. How did that work, and how have you seen the sort of the connection of engaging young people in hand washing and all of that?
Hello everyone. Hello Belinda. Thank you for that. The campaign was amazing and it's still going on. I must say it still continues. It has been great to see the kids around Cape Town and sharing with them the information about hand washing, and also figuring out what would be the best way to talk and communicate with them. That has been the most amazing part. And yeah, so
May I just add something for the group? The
Yes,
interesting thing
AJ.
is, hi, my name is AJ. You won't be able to see me because I've got a bright sun right behind me.
just black man.
Um, the interesting thing is that although the campaign has ended, although the program implementation has ended, we've got lots of demand from schools to continue with the campaign and to be part of the campaign. They see it as a very useful way of engaging with their kids, because the problem remains that although kids become aware of hand washing as a life-saving practice, that a lot of work still needs to be done on operation and maintenance around toilets and toilet hygiene, which is obviously very closely linked. So lots of schools are approaching us that have heard about the program and wanting to be part of a next phase. And what we're looking at is some form of continuity in our programming to engage, continue our engagement with the school through the Western Cape government, and see what interest there is for them to take it up, because a big win for us would be the institutionalization of the approach. Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect,
What he
AJ. Thank you
said.
very much, saying. Thank you very much from South Africa. Can I also invite now Uganda and Zambia and Malawi to say a few words about the campaign, about the follow-up? And I think AJ really connected it very well, that it is beyond just the hand washing campaign, but it's also around making sure that water actually is in the schools. The operation and maintenance of the Ministry of Education is on board to take it on. Anybody from Uganda wants to say anything?
Yep. Good morning, everyone. My name is Francis Mogoya from Kampala, from Uganda. Like AJ has shared, what we have realized is our own approach around the universal languages, and in this particular case, dance, has piqued great interest from the schools. Now, this year, we have expanded the approach into 20 schools where we have trained the teachers themselves, and they can lead dance sessions with the children. And through these dance sessions, they talk about behaviors like hand washing, like toilet use. So we picked up the interest from just waterproof, and now we take it to a proper approach called Dance for Wash, where we implement in 20 schools. And as much as we are still picking the lessons, we think it will be a great success, thanks to the lessons we picked from the waterproof project.
Yeah,
Thank you,
and thanks.
Belinda.
Thank you very much, Francis. That was excellent. Can I open it up to Borda in Zambia? Share a little bit about what you did, and even if Lucy's on board too, the Lusaka. Lucy's here too. Okay, let's hear Lucy first because you had that great song at the end. So Lucy, and then we go to Borda.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandra Ngozo. I'm from the Lusaka Water Security Initiative. Apologies, my colleague Kasengahara couldn't be part of this meeting, but I'll just speak briefly about this project in Zambia, Dance for Wash. I think we were excited to be a part of this in partnership with CADEV, the local council here in Lusaka, and other partners did come on board and support this project. And more recently, we participated in the Global Handwashing Day, which was led by the Ministry of Water and Sanitation here in Zambia. And our project was showcased, Dance for Wash was showcased during the Global Hand Washing commemoration. And our dancers were actually awarded as wash champions during the event, which is so exciting. And we hope that this could continue going forward. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Thank you very much. And I think there's another hand up too, so please go ahead. I can't see it on my screen. Um, is it from Zambia?
Yeah, this is Happy from Zambia.
Oh, perfect.
Yes, Happy Nyasuru from Zambia. I work for an NGO called WaterAid Zambia.
Welcome. Yeah.
I was privileged to be part of the. Thank you. Thank you. I was privileged to be part of the event which took place in Lusaka, the Global Handwashing Day, and it was my first time actually to see the enthusiasm and the energy from the group, the Dance for Wash. But a few reflections for me from that. I think we need to take advantage of such groups, especially in the areas of possible partnership and networking with big events which are coming up, like in Zambia. Like recently, we had the big music festivals, like the Stanbic Bank musical festival, which took place. I was thinking that if anything, if possible, we can try to showcase the Dance for Wash, try to get space in such kind of events, and have important to put them at that stage so that we showcase actually what the importance of hand washing through dancing as well. Not only the musical festivals, but also the marathons. The banks, they've gone into those spaces. Also, they are doing some marathons. I think those are some of the spaces we can take advantage of. I thought I should submit this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just still, before we leave Zambia, that's actually a great point. And I think the idea is really to mainstream it and not leave it as a sort of corner sector thing, but make it a conversation, whether it's through films, dance, art, sports, make it a conversation, make it part of life. I want to, I have 2 more minutes, but I want to get in Zambia. So Borda, Eddie, and Malawi, Kitase group, So Eddie, please, and then Kitase, and then we'll have some more time to have some more discussions on this following Mava's presentation. So Eddie, are you available to speak?
Yes, I am. Thanks, Belinda. Hi, everyone. Eddie Chikuta is my name, working for Border Zambia. And as was indicated, we are working on a project with Viva con Agua, as well as soap bottles, a wash in schools project, which is known as Wash and Sew, and particularly focusing on 20 schools. Also implementing the universal language for behavior change approach quite strongly in the schools. We have done the Dance for Wash activities in the schools, the arts, also, as well as more strongly the Football for Wash activities that we have been implementing for quite a very long time in the schools. And we have seen, I think, this approach working quite effectively, especially in peri-urban communities, because they are more engaging and the pupils and learners find them more interactive, and they get to grasp what they are learning quite well, and they use that as in their school curriculum as well, which is quite good, and it has been appreciated by a lot of schools. So what we have done further is that we have gone to make sure that the Football for Wash activities are institutionalized in the different schools that we are working in through their school wash clubs. So it has become customary now for the schools we are working in to actually do the Football for Wash activities quite often and also more consistently, so that we have that. And it was quite impressive to see also when we were commemorating the Global Handwashing Day, we actually did some drills on hand washing cycle for the minister who was gracing the event. And there was actually a lot of appreciation and actually a call by the minister to push this agenda for Football for Wash, or the universal language approach, into the schools, so that we get more traction on it. So we are very excited, and we're seeing a lot of impact in that regard. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie. I'm just imagining the minister doing a drill. So that's very cool. Great. And lastly, to Malawi, to end it off. Mulibwanji, Malawi. Is there anybody there? Anybody from Malawi to join?
Hi.
Nice. Welcome. Can you share a little bit of your impressions of the campaign, and if anything was done since with the Global Handwash Day?
Hello,
Kiko, you can go
KBG.
ahead.
Oh, okay. Hi, it's Tanya here from Kitase. Here in Malawi. We have been the regional social media managers together with Nyali for the Dance for Us campaign. It's been an exciting campaign to be a part of, especially being able to mobilize influencers from across the region, from each country. And I think one thing that really stood out for us is not just how great it was to be able to reach large networks by including influencers on the campaign. But even if we check the pages today, the project has kind of come to a close, but the pages are still up. People are still able to access the pages. We're still getting followers. I mean, even today, I think we've seen a few followers join from this meeting alone. So I think having the digital platform has been exciting in terms of being able to have that permanent stamp that people can always refer back to and be able to be a part of the campaign, whether they were reached on the ground or they found out about the campaign through someone else. And I think, yeah, word of mouth has been amazing. And it's been great to see that we could get a reach such as 1.2 million in such a short amount of time. So yeah, that's been exciting about this campaign. And we look forward to seeing greater impact going forward.
Right. And just also too, all the music you can now download in Spotify and things, and that's the other thing. So it's not just out there, that the music can actually be downloaded. And talking about musicians, I think it's KBG, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You are one of the musicians featured. So tell us how you connected. And in a minute, because I think my session is almost over, but can you share a little bit as being one of the great musicians on it? Your song is earworm for me, please, but I love it. Yeah.
I think it was an amazing experience. I won't even lie. I got to really work with a lot of artists, and just interacting with them and also getting a perspective from their from how they understand what wash is, was really interesting. It was also fascinating to work with a group of people from within the countries. We did that virtually, but we were able to understand the dynamics and able to work together. For me, I think that's the most important thing, that we barely met, but we were able to communicate, to connect, and to work together and bring out something as amazing as what we did, from the content to the coordination to the data to everything. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who was very cooperative and making our job easy, for the most part. But also, as an artist, I was excited to do the song with Suffix, who's also one of the biggest artists in Malawi, and it was just exciting to see him also perform it in Germany. And
That's
fun
right.
fact is that we were supposed to go there together, but I instead went to USA, where I also performed the song. They asked me to perform it because we talked
Oh,
about our projects. So I performed the song at Mandela Washington Fellowship in Washington, D.C., with a bunch of people there. There were so many people, like 700 leaders from across Africa. So that's the campaign is everywhere now because we managed to perform it at a platform where other countries were present, not just Southern, but everywhere from Africa. So that's my experience, and I'm looking forward to more opportunities that we're gonna jump on the project and see where it takes us. Other than that, you guys rock. It's amazing. Looking forward to the next other things. Yes,
Thank
thank you.
you very, very much. Amazing. And that's the beauty of any campaign. Music, dance, it lives on even when the campaign is over. So with that, I've taken a lot of time, but I've also been glad to have so much input. Thank you very much. And over back to you, Marge. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Belinda. And it's great to see there's a lot of interest in the chat on this unconventional and very innovative approach that you presented. So we'll bring Belinda back later on for the Q&A session. So please, if you have any more questions, keep them coming. In the meantime, she will address them while we move into our next equally interesting set of presentations, starting off with a presentation from Splash, which will be done by Megan Williams. She's the director of behavior change at Splash International, leading the global strategy towards impactful and sustainable behavior change. It's her job to consider the human ecosystem around infrastructure and program design to encourage health-friendly decisions. So Megan's not able to join us live because the timing doesn't isn't very convenient where she is currently based, but we are joined by Connie Smith, her colleague at Splash, who is very much ready to respond to your questions. So please keep them coming and post them in the chat. So here you go. Over to you, Megan.
Happy Global Handwashing Day. My name is Megan Williams. I am the Director of Behavior Change at Splash International. And I apologize I can't be there live, but I really appreciate the time to be able to share a little bit more about what Splash is doing around hand washing. Splash is really at the forefront of a growing movement to be able to ensure that children living in urban areas have access to the resources that they need to thrive. And for us, we do this through implementing child-friendly water, sanitation, hygiene, and menstrual health programming in these cities. We partner with the government to be able to ensure that 100% of all public schools have these programs. And our ultimate goal is to demonstrate a model that can work so that that can then be replicated in other cities around the world. At the center of our work is leveraging a behavior change model that is integrated both into our hardware programming as well as our software. And so for today, I want to give you a glimpse into both of those, but focus it around our hand washing work. So to start, I want to highlight a unique piece of our work, which is our hand washing stations. Splash has spent over a decade iterating and improving upon our design. We started with tile and concrete, a material that's often used in the countries that we work in. But those were a little boring to the eye, and over time we would see them breaking down to the point that they were unusable. And so we set our sights on a custom design hand washing station. We wanted to increase durability, see an increase in the behavior, and also try to decrease our costs. And so we worked with design agencies, school staff, lots of kids from multiple countries to be able to gain feedback. And eventually we developed our first generation of stations. These stations prioritize design features to be able to encourage hand washing behavior. And we did that through these bright, eye-catching colors to be able to draw them towards the station. They can also be really easily moved from one location to another, which is important if the facility needs to be able to make changes. They're designed for simple installation and maintenance. They don't require specialized expertise or tools. And one of the most impactful additions, which is not shown on this slide, was the installation of a mirror above hand washing stations. No matter how many times a kid might be told that they should wash their hands, it just might not hit. But if you install a mirror above the station for kids to be able to do a quick check before going back to the playground, I guarantee you are going to see a bump in your hand washing rates, or at least we did. To date, we have installed over 7,000 of these stations, benefiting nearly 800,000 kids. And we've done that in schools in India and Ethiopia. But we've also had some challenges. We've had taps being stolen at times, pipes breaking, which is why we continue to design, test, iterate. Which brings me to our latest design that's aimed at addressing these common concerns. The new stations are tapless, they are foot pedal activated, and they have a pressure regulator to be able to help with water conservation. I'm extremely excited about these new stations, and we are at the beginning stages of manufacturing now. While the infrastructure is a crucial ingredient towards successful behavior change, we do complement that with extensive software programs to reinforce and inspire. We leverage behavior-centered design, which is a methodology created by the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. We examine a given behavior, understanding how the environment or influencing different parts of the brain can target that specific behavior. We apply the methodology towards the way that we are engaging schools through site engagement, through programs to influence student hygiene, particularly hand washing as highlighted, through trying to shift the social norms within menstrual health, as well as working with janitors and focusing on cleanliness of the wash infrastructure and technicians for the maintenance. All of these programs, of course, with an underlining focus of sustainability to make sure that the programs that we are designing last. To highlight just a few of our materials specific to hand washing, here you can see some snapshots of videos that we designed to target student motivation. We also created some really fun IEC materials that we display around the school campus as reminders. And we've leveraged the school club model, providing curriculum and guides to organize school-wide event days or classroom activities. We are always eager to share with others, so if you want to learn more about our designs or our process to create these materials, please don't hesitate to reach out. We love to learn from others and to share what we've learned. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you have a wonderful day. And yes, again, please reach out with any questions.
Thank you so much, Megan. And once again, Connie, as she already posted in the chat, is very much welcome to answer your questions. So please post them in the chat, and we will get back to them later on during the Q&A session after our last presentation, which is from HappyTap. We will be joined by Meva Zara Rakotoson, or Meva, and Vanna Rodriguez. So Meva works as a water partnership consultant, and she has spent the past 15 years focused on improving access to wash services for low-income communities and institutions through different approaches, especially market-based solutions with not-for-profit organizations. She's now working with Watershed Holdings through HappyTap, and she's passionate about designing and learning from sanitation and hygiene systems. Moreover, she aims to bolster the system that underpins hygiene for everyone. And she will be supported by Vanna, who is the country manager for HappyTap Philippines and is at the forefront of efforts to launch, expand, and grow HappyTap's operation in the country. So over to you, Miva. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Marge. I'm so happy to be part of this webinar today. I've learned a lot. I've heard about Dance for Wash, but today I was really amazed by the great work that they have done. And at the same time, seeing the experience from Splash is really like motivating and reinvigorating us. Like we are on the good path. We are on the good path to reach our goal, or even going beyond what we have thought about hand washing, or like how to improve hygiene. So just briefly before I will talk about our concept within HappyTap, let me just share with you a quick update about HappyTap. You might already have heard about it, but we are a social enterprise which is focusing on improving hygiene through advocacy work, but at the same time through bringing solution, like practical solution. And we designed a new generation sink, if I can say that, to improve the practice, the hand washing practice everywhere in the world. So we are present in several countries, including Bangladesh, Vietnam, Cambodia, India, and Philippines, as we have my colleague Vanna with me here, and Madagascar, where I am based. And now in Kenya, we started to really relaunch our work in Kenya and thinking about being able to serve the East Africa. So our work, what we are doing as HappyTap is trying to respond to that question, like, do our students, teachers, and staff have hand washing within reach? We are addressing other settings, but for today, because we are within WINS network, we will focus more about our work within schools. So please, next slide. As the theme this year, you know well, is clean hands within reach. For us, we understand that by really closing the gap between knowledge and access. It's not just us who say that. The last report released by Global Handwashing Partnerships through the research summary, I just put that paragraph from that report. Is like one of the recommendations there was confirming that knowledge is not enough to drive behavior change. So we know that well, as we used to work in that field. We know that even us as a professional, sometimes we don't do the behavior as we are expected. So for the next, that leads us to come to the idea of we should bring that together. We should bring awareness and access at the same time. The next slide is showing how awful or like how weird is it when the awareness and access is not coming together. In the next slide, you can see how it is working. So the way this guy, you see that he's reading the poster, then he's all like, okay, I know that I have to wash my hands. But what happens when the sink is not there, when the device, when the facility is not there? So this led us to come to what we used to say, like, let's do that together. Let's combine behavior change promotion and convenient access to facilities. So part of the research, like as the research summary already confirmed that many studies already show that the greatest opportunity to improve hand washing lies in offering convenient, desirable sinks alongside high quality behavior change campaigns. And even Splash already mentioned that, like, it should be customized, it should be designed for, and at the Dance for Wash program mentioned, it should be fun. So we should have that all those components together, all of those determinants together, having fun, making it pleasant, making it convenient. So this led us to the concept that we are bringing. Next slide, please. As HappyTap, we say that, okay, we had that COVID era, and we should keep the momentum. But during COVID, we used to say, like, okay, new normal. Then we say, like, okay, for hygiene, we need a new normal too. But now we can say like it should be normal for hygiene to see many devices or like more hand washing facilities in more locations. So for us, it should be normal that people can wash hands wherever needed. Even they are in refugee camps, even they are at the restaurant, even they are outside when they are doing some picnics or something like that. So for us, it's about bringing the sink beyond the bathroom, beyond the toilet, and meaning that we already accept that now, as after COVID, that seeing sinks everywhere. But we should keep that. We should sustain that momentum. So we should have that shift in our mind, like more hand washing stations in more locations. And it's not humanly like reasonable to ask people to just go and leave the room and go with many meters before being able to wash hands. Like at the restaurant, can you imagine if you don't have access to hand washing outside the toilet? It's kind of difficult to ask people to just go to the toilet for washing hands only. So it's humanly impossible. So for that, we say that it should be normal for us to see more hand washings in more locations. Next slide, please. And this is about how we already started to implement that in school. If we go in school, we can imagine about how difficult, like how many barriers those students are facing when they are asked to wash hands, like after playing on the ground, mainly in rural area where we are working, sometimes even in urban. After playing during the recess, the time for the students to wash hands are so limited. So you can imagine like how many types for, let's say 10 taps for 500 students. The time is not enough for all of them being able to wash hands. But before arriving, the right ratio will be like we should work on finding like what will be the reasonable ratio for one tap for how many students. But what we are doing now is encouraging the schools managers and even school ministry to think about complementing what they have already, because they already have, most of them already have hand washing near to the toilet or outside, like in the yard of the school. So what we are encouraging them now is having one hand washing per classroom minimum. So for us, this proximity will lead to nudge the behavior, but at the same time, it's already confirmed by the research that if it is less than 7 meters and in the line of sight, people is encouraged to do the behavior. So next slide. We'll come to what it should be. Like if we want to encourage like more hand washing in more locations, what we need for this type of next generation sinks to work. So for us, it should be, they should be able to set up, to be able to set up within reach for users and nudge the behavior by the proximity, by the convenience. And for us, it should be like also set up in a minute, like as Splash mentioned, no need for specific skills like plumber or engineer, but it should be also be reasonably priced and durable. And for us, it should be accompanied by a really simple maintenance routine, but it should be part of the routine. As Belinda mentioned, it should be make part of our life. So it should be something easy for the manager to maintain and operate on daily basis. Next slide, please. So here are some few examples of what we would like to share with you today is from Philippines and from Madagascar. But we have other experience in other countries. So what we have in Philippines is a kind of campaign that we are implementing with a school department called School Ambassador Program. So the aim is, as we mentioned, is this long-term, like lifelong habits for the next generation, meaning for the schools. What we call school ambassadors are those who show leadership in wash, but at the same time commit for having hand washing in classroom. So one HappyTap per classroom is a minimum. They are applying for the campaign, then they are mobilizing themselves resources for getting the support in terms of financial support mainly, but we are giving them technical support in terms of training, awareness module for students, and specific price for those school ambassadors. From our experience from Philippines, they already saw the benefit of having the hand washing in classes. Like it could be part of their teaching, teaching opportunity for them. But at the same time, they have noticed that the students, they are more disciplined and show more ownership of the practice in itself, but at the same time for the facility. Next slide, please. And again, through what we wanted to reach through that work within schools is really base our work on those, like, go beyond three star schools. Once those schools already reach 3 stars, they already have the mindset of how can improve the practice, how can we improve the behavior change within schools. So we mostly encourage those schools like going beyond 3 stars. So it's really about combining what we are offering with what existing. Again, I'm saying, like, okay, as a private enterprise, we don't know everything. So we rely on what the others already do, like, or what other organization already set up, and we complement with what existing. So all of these things is really help us to sustain what they already have. Next slide, please. As part of the example and the example of this complementarity that we have done, for example, in Madagascar, we already have kind of initiative joined other organization who is working more on pedagogical tools for changing behavior, like Fondation Milieu, and also another USAID funded program where they use nudges to remind kids, like after the toilet, you have to wash your hands. And through that, we are coming with HappyTap and set up the new normal within those schools. And this complementarity help us to bring better empowerment and better ownership also from the students and the teachers. What we have noticed through our experience also is the HappyTap can be used as a teaching tool, and it's encouraging accountability again, as I said, because when it is allocated per classroom, the operation and maintenance is much more smooth by them. Like they know that they have to take care of their equipment. So this is really powerful in terms of how can they sustain the behavior in itself. So that comes to what we would like to call for today is we can join our hands. Last slide, please. We can work together. We can collaborate to reach that clean hands within reach. It is possible to do that now, not waiting for next pandemic, not waiting for more complicated approach. We already have all the ingredients, both of all in each area where we are working. We already have all of those ingredients because we are cooking something. So yeah, those ingredients are there. We can do it together. Thank you so much. For any questions, I will leave Vanna also to help us for responding to that, because I know that she had a lot of experience in schools in Philippines. That's why she is with me today. So yeah, please feel free to ask. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Meva. And yeah, thank you for sharing with us how HappyTap is working towards ensuring that clean hands are within reach. And the same goes for the other presenters. Let me just take this opportunity to also thank Megan, Erin, Belinda, and all the partners of Viva Con Agua who shared with us how they are working towards towards making the theme of this year's Global Handwashing Day a reality. And with that, I will now turn over to Belinda for our Q&A portion. Hi, Belinda.
Yeah, and I'm glad so many have still stayed on. And I think I saw there's folks from UNICEF, also from the Blue Schools. So we definitely want to open that up to talk a little bit more, to share. I think what I got from this, I mean, starting with Erin and then sort of giving the wider sort of the global partnership, some of the guidelines, some of the standards, really to help us set the stage. So, you know, the kind of giving that policy side of things. Then we got into the behavior change, which is an element of it, the human-centered design approach, the idea that Megan shared and Connie is sharing, and then the idea that the convenience of having the facilities in a place where people can conveniently use, but linked to all of those things. So I think, Mava, you said it beautifully, that everything we have is within our reach for global hand washing, and we can do more to, and we can now do more to promote it. And I think I love the little line that was in one of the teachers that's also saying that every corner of a classroom is an opportunity for teaching. And we also, and I think this is kind of in lines with a lot of the programs, the idea that the classroom is a learning. It's not just what you get in the books or what the teacher says, but it's the whole experience of being in school. So therefore, having facilities, all of this all impacts and integrates the learning and internalizes the learning. So lots of richness in the sessions, and I think we come from it from different angles, but it came together quite nicely. Now, I want to open this up now for others who would like to share. Either, I know there's like Anna Marika, you've been working on hand hygiene guidelines. UNICEF has been doing tons of work. Anybody who wants to share a little bit about what they're doing, any reflections on the presentations, or even just ideas. The floor is open. You can either raise your hand or put it in the chat. And Vanna, I also want to invite you to, if you want to share any reflections for Philippines as people are taking time to decide whether they're going to send their question or not. Vanna, do you want to say anything? Do you want to share?
All right, yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Vanna from the Philippines. So we started our campaign for schools early this year, and yeah, we learned a lot from engaging teachers and also the schools division. So what I wanted to highlight is that it really has to be a multi-stakeholder approach for it to be sustainable. So we try to engage the LGU, the local government, the the school community, even local corporations are part of the efforts. And we create this community or ecosystem of support for promoting wash in schools. So yeah, it's one of the things that in terms of programs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I also like how you connected it with the 3-star approach as well, because that is also something that is actually being used nationally. So also getting to connect that to, so it's not done kind of in its own isolation, but you're saying that in order to become a 3-star school, which regularly fit the criteria, you need to be able to wash hands. And so it's also connected. So schools see this as a way to enable them to reach the 3 stars.
Yes, we try to align with policy and improve existing practices. And if like some of the challenges that the schools face are lack of maintenance budget, or things that are too far, then we build that we address that gap and build on existing work of other wash partners. So
Yeah, thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else want to share? I do know that just the Swiss Water Partner Group, the hand is up. Yes. Let me see who. I can't actually see who. It's terrible. Anna Marika, please. Anna Marika, hand hygiene. Tell us more.
Yeah, a couple of things I want to say, because going through it, I remember I wrote this little booklet. Many of you might know this one. I wrote it in 2001. I'm kind of dinosaur in this sector.
No.
It's called Child-Friendly Hygiene and Sanitation Facilities in Schools. And the second title is Indispensable to Effective Hygiene Education. What I want to make clear, is that we have been talking about this for decades. Yeah. Just do it. Yeah. And I was really happy to see the presentation of Splash and also the presentation after that small groups have started to take this up and say, okay, let's just do it. Make facilities and make conditions attractive for children. many companies in the world already know this also for decades, for more than those decades that we are working on it. So that's one point I want to make, yeah? I also curiously actually did a Google while we were talking, and I see this little booklet is being used for many, many publications afterwards, yeah? Anyhow, it was written out of a frustration because I felt, make something attractive, yeah? So now washing schools is not a point of discussion anymore. We all understand that this is important, yeah? Over the last, I would say 7-8 months, I've been working in Zambia on, that's what you want to talk about, on the Hand Hygiene for All roadmap for Zambia. And last year I did a Hand Hygiene for All strategy for Ghana, yeah? What I see, and I even see it in the presentations of today, the topic is hand hygiene, but we go to wash, yeah? And I feel that hand hygiene is a subject that has been forgotten too much in the past decades. And we should remember that hand hygiene is a very cost-effective way of dealing with, I would say, health conditions in schools, hygiene conditions in schools, yeah? So having said that, in Zambia, I was happy to hear some people from Zambia. I'm not sure if I met you during those months, because except for Waya, who I see who's in the call, I do not recognize the names. But I feel there's still so much advocacy work to do in respect of hygiene and hand hygiene, because it's just not within the WASH family, I would say, considered the least important. Wow, like I said, it's cost effective and has a very high impact, yeah? So we talk about water, we talk about sanitation, but hand hygiene is still a very difficult issue to address. That's what I wanted to say. I don't know if there's more you want to ask me, Belinda?
No. That's really good, and I do see that there is a lot of countries who are developing a roadmap. So can you just give us a little bit of idea of what is in the hand hygiene roadmap? What are the key things that need to be done for advocacy? Or do you have just like a sort of a general feel? Sorry to put you on the spot, but I do think it is interesting because as much as we are doing these initiatives, the issue around alignment is really important, that they are also aligned to national efforts so that we are also mobilizing funding and resources nationally rather than everybody kind of doing their own thing. And I think this is what Erin, she's no longer on the call, God bless her, it's like 4 a.m. or whatever, but that having global normative and standards and things that we're all working towards and supporting is one way to make an impact. So can you tell us what are kind of the chunks that are in a hand hygiene roadmap and how should partners integrate? And are you working, last question, are you working with Ministry of Education through this, or are you working mostly with Ministry of Health?
No, the administrative lead is by the Ministry of Water Development and Sanitation. Has been a long discussion, but of course, Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education, Ministry of Local Government are very much important partners in this whole exercise. What we see in actually, interestingly enough, is that in all these roadmaps, similar aspects come back, yeah? And we also see that, okay, we use the behavior centered design methodology, yeah, where there's really, for me, 3 important things in there. There needs to be a market of products, so good products need to be in the market, yeah. There need to be a behavior change component, and you need to make noise. You need to make, that's for me simply summarizing what's in there, and making noise is, doing activities or advocacy events, yeah. What we see in most of in the countries where I've worked, is that there is a need for the first one, advocacy and behavior change promotion, yeah, which is an obvious one, yeah. There's a need for, to do quality of planning and implementation. There needs to be capacity at all levels, And like I said, hygiene has never gotten importance. There are very few countries where you would find dedicated staff within a government who focuses on hygiene, yeah, or hygiene specifically. There's the issue of monitoring. We really don't know what's going on, and even I feel the definitions within the JMP are very questionable. If we look into hand hygiene in school, is do we observe water and soap when we go and visit? It's sometimes difficult, and if the soap is here and the water is there, sorry, yeah, it's very far from me, do we still consider this? Yeah. Then there's another issue. It's like I said, we need to have the products in the market, sustainable market development. And like I saw these beautiful products from Splash. There's of course the issue of maintenance. How long does it last? What is the price? But I think it's a good step, and I think in addition to that, it's important that you include those kind of solutions within your national standards, where you say, "Okay, in schools, this is what we want." Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much. I mean, you really, I'm going to actually close it off with you because you actually really rounded everything out for us, because we've talked a little bit today. Thank you, Anna Marika, based out of the Netherlands. And yes, the same documents we've been writing for years, but they're still very useful, and I'm glad to know that. But in closing this session, Marge, I think we can start to close this session. But just to sort of say, number one, it is around having a behavior change. Communication, advocacy is very, very key. Getting people to internalize and connect with the subject of hand hygiene, but also, and which we focused again, is having the right products and markets. The human-centered design, the convenience of it is very, very key too. And then where Erin started us talking, the collaboration with London School Hygiene Tropical Medicine and other partners to actually understand behavior change, to monitor behavior change, just so to see how things are done and is it making a difference. And I think looking at all of that, while hand hygiene is very simple, soap and water, wash your hands, do the happy birthday song, and then it's over. But we realize actually it's a bit more complex to change people's behavior and to get it so that people consistently practice it to actually make those differences. So I'm glad many of you stayed on and participated. I hope that you found this very, very useful. I want to thank Marge and the GIZ team, Fred on the back, and they're helping out as well of all the presenters, starting with Erin, Megan, thanks Connie for coming in, Vanna, Meva, Anna Marika, Eddie, Francis, AJ, who else can I think of now? Kadazi, KPG, everybody. Thank you guys all so much for joining on today's post Global Hand Wash Day celebration. And if you would like to join, and we hope you are interested in joining the WINS Network, please do. You can connect and you can get more information. You can also get presentations and contacts and continue. I do want to say we have a couple actually good webinars coming up in the next month. So next month it's Autumn Learnings, and we'll be focusing on winds and system strengthening, a really interesting study by Christina who from Stanford University on all the what is needed to sustain WASH in schools. That will be there. Blue Schools will be presenting the methodology recently used for an evaluation. And we also have UNICEF Brooke, who will be sharing a little bit about the enabling environment framework that was used. And then after that, for December, we will have a session with WaterAid on inclusive and the work that they're doing around WASH inclusive in school with children with disabilities, and perhaps maybe even JMP in there to give us some information. So there's a couple good webinars coming up, and we really thank everybody for joining. And then we close it off with some more music or a little bit. And so thank you guys all very much. Have a great day. And if you wish to connect with anybody on the website, I think the chat, our emails are there. We're happy to connect. Have a great day. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. See.
Bye.
You able to play the song out, Fred? Yeah, great. Well.
So yeah, I just I'm thinking about the weather.
Mm.
Is it gonna rain? Is it not? You know. But if we're indoors, it should be fine.
Kind of just talking like whatever it is. Because if already, we'll add some more people. Yeah, I will add some more people trying to figure out the situation. Yeah. Can we get the boy in the brown to move? It's gonna be.
Oh, they're playing the behind the scenes.
You're so nice.
And actually, one of the key
Really?
issues is that
Amazing. Yeah.
once Diane's finished,
Izanda phezulu ngoba sifuna life siwasha phambili ngoba sifuna fresh say what say what say what I mean afuna fresh something what's sparkly banya butter butter Izanda phezulu ngoba sifuna life siwasha phambili ngoba sifuna fresh say what say what say what I mean afuna fresh something what's sparkly banya butter 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 butter
What a great video. You guys did such a great job.
And cut.
It's a wrap. You guys did a great job. Thank you for sharing.
Really, even me. That's why I'm talking about the exporting, like how to export that, because this can work even in other country than not just in South Africa. But the sound is very good.
I
Definitely.
know.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to talk.
Definitely. Oh yeah, yeah.
Being
I'm
from
seeing that.
Madagascar.
Yeah, and you are thinking to go to Kenya now, so it's really the best time for us to partner, because yeah, Kenya now is really starting to grow step by step. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And actually, one of the artists that you saw in the video is Octopizzo. And Octopizzo is from Kenya, and he's going to, he just collaborate with us. So yeah, so
Wow.
there is definitely can link you up. There are artists there